So let's switch because now we've got chat button. So here's some feedback from you guys. Um, well, we find ourselves looking to extend the sidebar here because it's tied down to basically the use of organization. In reality, we should be able to use it right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the parts that don't require. So first, I'm just going to create type item, and we'll just use that. And this props take items, give it an add items. That looks like nicely. We'll just stop there. You're also going to see the header item. And it's going to be add, no real magic. What's going on is that I just want to isolate everything that has nothing to do and just put it right. So this can now be inside org layout instead of where we are right now, which I think works out really nicely, right? So this as the header. Oh, all right. Go crazy. Actually, let's go to side button to that. It's great. And then items here, header item. Let's go over here and add there. Put the mouse button using the header item. Look at how it goes up. Put it down here. Kind of put it in something. So we're going to do this. Exactly. Stick there, just right. There you have it. That works out. Uh, so that should keep everything the same way as before. So that works out. So we can push down and then sidebar with this that's down. Which is everything. Perfect. Now on the user side, we can create some items. Uh, this here. Actually, checks. Interesting. Want the user to with this entire dashboard, but this is why I kind of use Figma sometimes because just can't describe it whatever it is. You don't know what it is. But let's just call it user. I guess it's there we go. User challenge. So this dashboard doesn't exist. essence, it is the dashboard. But then how to actually that this is this is fun. Um, this will be user challenge. And, as far as this, it can be I'm not sure. Yeah, you always valid at so grab this, grab that. And the last piece here is that when you put the challenge register, uh, it went ahead and insert the first spot. This is not user slash challenge. And that should take care of that. That should be good to be uh, different. That's really this here. So this is the main challenge. This page that we sent it to. We've got a few other places. Uh, right. Right. That's very interesting. Um, this is I'll go with that. Let's see what it did. Okay. All right, so this is just creating some. Wow, see that? Mm. All right, let's see if we can confirm blood pressure. Honestly, all right. I mean, all right, so So we finally got it. Took a while. Basically, the model kind of just didn't really um, know that this is the way you actually use to get server side. It turned this into a server side component. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that, but I think it's for the best, at least for the initial, because then it just becomes a very determinate scenario. But then it does the extra work that would do actually go outside. So that works out fine, I think. Um, I think we fun there. This makes sense as well. Nothing magical here. It checks, and if there is something, we go and do it. So it does do the thing, which is basically show, uh, show so nothing magical there. Oh, that's that. Boom, boom. Oh, look, they have the generate commit message. I wonder what that does. That's fun. All right, so let's see where that actually takes us, right? So this should take us to user challenge and this. So that is uh, their challenge object from their point of view, right? So let's see if that actually works. Um, and let's look at that. What is this? Saying organization, invocation, blah, 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 layout. So it's complaining about something about the layout. Yeah, it's just like copied it from the other spots. So the error here really relates to the fact that this will not have the parameters that it expects. So we don't have to worry about that. Um, we're going to create a login page. That's the login page. Okay, so redirect them to a login page and figure it out. No need to check into organizer. None of that really exists here. We can get rid of this. We can do that. Brands we're not using because we're only in a slash user. It's like a slash new kind of route. We only care about the currently signed user. So everything from there on is what we have. So let's check out what actually renders, if anything. All right. Some other one. Only plain objects can be passed to client component from server component. All right. Let's talk about that. Only plain objects. Um, so what are we passing here? Um, okay. Okay. Um, that's interesting. So it appears that all right. So that's an interesting thing. So here's the problem. Looks like there is this requirement to go ahead and have only certain things passed in client server side. So we need to adjust. And let's look at that right now. And that's going to affect our other scenario. Um, we can do a few things, but I think because we want to keep it kind of isolated, stuff like that. What we're going to do is we're going to create a user sidebar .tss, right? And this will be a use client, right? And what this is going to do is actually, uh, yeah, let's just take this, uh, just turn that right there. Oh, and then boom, boom, and just like that, we are good to go. And so the user sidebar really stays inside here. It's a client-side component. No real magic around that, I assume. So actually, where was this before? That's a boom right there. We can get rid of this. Doesn't exist. I import that. Get rid of a few imports here. Um, and we just got to add the pop here. And just like that, we solved our issue. At least we did. Let's check that out. Right, we do. So we solved our issue right here. We've got our form going on, which is cool. Lots to do here because this entire piece is going to have to be changed dramatically. But we are loading the correct form. We're able to look at these things from within it. So that's great. This is response challenge ID, right? So this will ties that particular challenge to that particular user, and this is their instance of that collection of responses that they require to have. So, basically that's yes, I remember absolutely. All right. So lots of things wrong here, but we have a shell for a dashboard, which works out this one. This is a very interesting one. I think the page needs to be adjusted. But that's okay. Now we actually have to solve that same issue in this area. this page right here. Yes, that. So this is the response form. Uh, this actually is very interesting because all the way up. Like that, all that stuff. All right, so looks like we have to really redo this entire form. As far as we know, we have to create a series of challenges, one leading up to another. So that's another thing. Hmm. All right, so we don't have to worry about that right now. We got to the point where we can register, uh, so that's good. We're going to use those into challenge. Uh, all right. So basically, we have a few pages that the client has to design right? They don't have a full design spec, and for that thing to actually be seen, right? Like, we kind of created basically from scratch everything and just design as we could, but that's not really what the end client wants. Once the end client gives us basically the mocks, we'll go ahead and reshape these things to whatever they want. So that's gonna be fun. But now we have a flow where a person could create the challenges. They'll go ahead and sign up for that challenge. Um, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff there. Um, yeah, we're gonna add an navigation bar here too. Things that's let's just move this for clarity. All right, cool. So hopefully that, yeah, I did do that. Great. Let's see. What do we want to do? We want the same exact layout, but in the challenge. So let's actually do that. Let's grab this layout. But there shouldn't be a sidebar, right? So let's get rid of that sidebar. Yeah. So let's grab this layout. There's no sidebar here. And right here. Here we go. So now when we go to that list page, and well, at this layout, we don't have a sidebar, so we get rid of that. Um, and then we have it does look kind of weird without that sidebar. Um, and so, right, we can get rid of this padding left, right? Boom. There we go. Now it fills up the entire thing. Great. So now the user can see what we have here. We could actually add some bytes, maybe some buttons here. And let's the user log out, right? So actually, that's one of the things I wanted to go ahead and check because we didn't verify. Oh, all right. Maybe, well, this one doesn't require the login. We don't have to redirect here because it's an optional thing. So let's go back to the challenge list page. Great. Here, got a bar here. Great. Um, I am logged out. All right. Well, that's a bit different, right? So this particular header, um, this is a client component. Maybe it is, right? Yeah, it's a client component. So const user session. Okay, boom. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that somebody has If we got an ID, then great. We show them that. And if not, show them buttons to sign in. What? Missing phone. And yeah, that should be it. All right, let's see how that goes. So I'm not logged in. Great. Should see that. Callback URL. Looks like callback URL. All right. Oh, this one appeared out of nowhere. Now, this one appeared out of nowhere because the user that signed in is able to see that, right? So we already added the filtering for the public events, I mean, the public challenges versus the private challenges, right? So that's a very interesting part. I sign out and I no longer see that. So that's a very important aspect of the entire thing. I'm going to click here because I want to simulate how it looks like when I go ahead and type in anybody's email address, right? Sign up, boom. Let's say, all right. Well, this one is a public challenge, and therefore it's available to everybody. Um, so you may be asking, well, how can in a private challenge, how does the user find it? And the reality is, if they're not signed in, they're not going to see it automatically. They're going to be told the URL to go directly. So I think that's the expectation there of the user experience. But here, public challenge, able to just do that. and we could just add a photo there. Nice little photo. Great. Um, and that's it. We just registered for the challenge. Um, and then they're taking us somewhere where I gotta go. Now we're gonna break this to a two-step process. Um, the challenge register form needs to be broken down by page. It's a lot of no, this is the challenge response form. I need the challenge register. Yeah, this one right here. I'm focusing on this. Hello. Jesus, the response is taking forever. It's not working. Oh, 3 is definitely shot. Let's see what's going on. Seal Foreman. Just call Sonic. I don't know. Let's see. Cloud Sonnet's been the most stable one, but you never know who or what's going to happen. All right, let's see if that looks good. All right, let's look at this component. All right, here, click on this one, sign up, and all right, looks like that works out. Just grabbing a photo here, regular picture, nothing magical. Right. So here we go. This is the login page. Where does it actually take you if you try to log in? Let's look at that. So that's a very good guard right there. Um, so we should actually show a message that way we don't take them directly there. All right. So it seems like it goes here. So um, shame we could redirect them. So yeah. So everything looks good. Um, all right. So basically, we have to kind of um, create a new page to support this. Oh, we just redirect them to this particular thing, but this is at the layout level, so we don't really have all the information required to actually do what we want. Um, so I think, well, we want to minimize the number of hops. So, all right, let's check out what that does. So here, um, yeah, what do we want to do? I think it makes sense to really handle this as a challenge register and let the user know that instead of redirecting them. Let's see. All right, let's see how that does it. So I'm still not authenticated. The user basically is going to go back to the same exact thing. Signs up, boom, 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 right? Verified doesn't exist. Great. I don't even really, it doesn't really require an image, so I'm just not going to do it. Ah, I am requiring an image. All right. Yeah, let's make sure we do that. All right. I click here, goes ahead, tries to sign me in. Um, and I'm assuming it's going to try to do something. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to sign with a different email address than I actually signed up with. It'll take me back to this page, which is probably not the correct thing, but that's okay. They'll see the button that they've signed up. So I'm just going to sign up with this. Boom. Great. What? All right, cool. Good. Oh, okay. Well, that's probably bad. All right. So we have already some sort of mistake here, and that is that if he is already signed in and registered, there is some sort of madness here. Um, which is basically a session. Right. We're just checking to see if the user has. There is no user. Then you have to go and sign in. All right. Um, now let's check what that looks like. And so now we just have to send them there. Yeah, this is actually correct. And we don't really have to do that. We can just put a link. No, it's not. And it's not going to be the challenge ID, it's going to be the challenge response ID. So let's see if we have that here. We should, because it's not the challenge ID. Register the challenge, great. And does it have the response? Come back with the response. All right, it does. It does. So we have the response ID. Let's do that. Um, uh, challenge. No, it's not challenge ID. It's const register. It's a challenge response ID. All right. So right. So basically, uh-huh. Great. Now here, the challenge response, which in theory should exist, right? And the same happens before the challenge register, right? So we have it on the page itself on the challenge register. We are essentially uh, challenge detail, challenge user response. So yeah, so basically we get that particular piece, um, and that should take us to where we need to be, um, right? So the response ID which we need here. Um, and then that actually helps us show that information. So that should be good to go. And then we just check one more time here. If there is a challenge response ID, then we show this button, which is right there. All right, and just double check one more time, challenge details. Uh, yep, that's the one. And just for shits and giggles, this response, challenge response ID, great. If I go page, uh, user challenge response ID, that's correct. We're giving that same type thing, challenge school. Right, okay. Release. Challenge response ID. All right, so that checks out. All right, so there's a lot of pieces. Got to make sure you have everything going correctly. And so when I go to this link is going to go straight into where I need to be, which is the actual challenge. This is going to be the dashboard for that particular user. So that works out really nicely. Now let's go back into that login flow of the on-login user, right? And so we are going to go and pretend that we are CN. All right. So it's telling me I got to sign in. I'm going to sign in. I already have an account with these people. And then we're just sign in. This will take you back into this page where you will be able to see the information that's required. Signed up with the wrong one. But there, if that's what it's supposed to do. Let's log out. Let's create a fake email to sign up here. Boom. All right. Another person doesn't exist. All right. So I click this. Here we go. This is a problem. Iniciar sesión. So, wait a second. Why would there be a challenge here? That's a very interesting one. So that's a bug right there. That's interesting. Why would that be there? Anyways, let's see. That's challenge response interview. And let's see if that's actually used here. Right, after creation, you already have it, so there we go. So, all right, cool. We have to. All right, cool. So now it tells me to log in, as I have to log in, and then the person will just go to their dashboard for that particular item. So, so I can sign in as this one, which is already registered. We go back to that same page, and voila. All right, so no magic really happening here. I think everything's fine. And we got to a point where we're able to create a challenge, put it on the list page, and then register for that challenge. So that works out nicely. Let's go ahead and push this direction and take a break. We've been streaming live, but not many people joining. I think eventually somebody will find the value of these. Maybe they'll use that to train AI models. right. Boom. All right. We're going to take a break for a few hours and then come back to this.